It's another edition of Time About the Movies. Happy 4th of July. I'm recording this on the 4th of July. Actually, it's about half hour away from the end of the 4th of July, but it's still today, Independence Day. So happy Independence Day to you folks out there. But you're not here to hear me talk about that, or even Independence Day. There's a video for Independence Day if you want to go check that out. I'll have it in the corner. But no, you're not here for that. You're here to hear me talk about the movies of August 1st, 1997. We've got 5 movies to look at today. Some notable films, some good, some not so good. This first one's one of the not so good ones. It's Michael Jai White and John Leguizamo in the adaptation of Todd McFarlane's classic comic book, Spawn.
It's time. Imagine a substance with the power to destroy humanity. Imagine a creature insane enough to use it. Imagine a hero on the verge of creation. From flesh to steel. You must visualize your objective. From blood to blade.
Don't get cocky. You have a lot more to learn.
From man to spawn.
Peekaboo. I see you.
We've harvested the ultimate weapon. Makes the Ebola virus look like a skin rash.
Congratulations. I say destroy the cosmos, ask questions later.
Who are you?
This is just what they want. You're playing their game.
To now play dirty.
You've been violated, girly man.
Use your armor!
Now stay sharp. The night is young.
This summer, evil has a new enemy. Justice has a new weapon. And the world has a new hero. Spawn.
Proof in 1997 that Batman and Robin may have been bad, but you know what? It's head and shoulders above some of these other movies that we got, like Spawn and Steel. That doesn't mean Batman and Robin's that great of a film, but still, it's better than anything that came out of Spawn. Which is a shame, because the marketing for this wasn't all bad. I mean, that trailer didn't look too bad, honestly, and there was actually a really cool teaser trailer that came out the year prior to this.
This film has not yet been rated. This film has not yet been approved. But next summer, New Line Cinema brings to light the darkest hero to ever ignite the screen. What once was human is now pure force, feared by evil, sworn to justice. Next summer, nothing in this world can prepare you for Spawn.
Why don't more trailers take advantage of the MPAA rating card? I mean, have fun with that. There are movies that are doing that ever since this came out, like Smurfs: The Lost Village comes to mind, The Good German. Recently, the Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie had a good little joke that they had with the trailer card. I mean, do more with that. I mean, I think that may have been the earliest one where somebody said, let's just have fun with that trailer card and just go with it. And it made it into a really cool looking teaser trailer. But like I said, the material that they had there, the marketing, the promotions they had out there, can't really hide the fact that the movie is pretty bad. And it's a shame, because it has good talent on board, not just people like John Leguizamo, Nico Williamson, Martin Sheen, Teresa Randall. I mean, Michael Jai White, man. I mean, Michael Jai White was pitch perfect for Spawn, and he could have easily been the best thing in this movie, but they unfortunately didn't give him a whole lot to do. And Michael Jai White is a fantastic actor. I've seen him in a bunch of other movies since this came out, and I mean, he is really good. He is really an impressive actor. I've seen him in a lot of great films. He seems like a cool dude sometimes too on social media. I think is I don't know if he still does, but I know on my Twitter feed he actually followed me on there, so I must have said something nice about him. But I do really like him. I do really like him as an actor, and I do kind of wish this movie had given him a chance to have more of a chance to show what he could do as an actor, because I don't think he really this is probably his only real big early chance at a leading role, and hopefully to branch his name out, because after this he kind of went into more, I don't want to say supporting roles, more character roles. Like, honestly, like, I don't really see him a lot in like bigger leading roles. I could be wrong on that. I haven't really checked his filmography in a while. Well, he was in the Tyler Perry movies, Why Did I Get Married, or Why Did I Get Married 2, and I know he was also in Black Dynamite, which is a great movie and made for a really funny TV series on Adult Swim. I completely forgot that he was Mike Tyson in an HBO biopic, so maybe he has been in some more stuff that I don't really know, as I haven't really gotten the full gist of here. But regardless, man, I think he's a fantastic actor, and this really should have been his breakout movie, but kind of like George Clooney in Batman and Robin, the rest of the movie itself around him just wasn't that good enough, and not helped by the fact that John Leguizamo was not that great either. I mean, a good job on the makeup work, honestly, but his performance is just too all over the place, and just didn't really work. The punchlines he had were not that great. I mean, it just really didn't work at all. The visual effects are really the absolute worst thing about this movie. Like, let me put it this way: this was originally greenlit with a budget of $20 million. Because the visual effects were so big and so high end, it grew to double that, $40 to $45 million, which a third of that was spent on the effects, and they had a lot of trouble putting these effects together. In fact, it got so bad that the last bit of visual effects they had to work on occurred 2 weeks before the film. Not even 2 weeks before the film was supposed to come out. July 21st, 1997 was the last shot of the visual effects that they had to get into the movie and render, and it was not but even 10 days before the movie was supposed to come out. And even in the movie, it still looks abysmal. It looks unbelievably bad the way that these visual effects do. I mean, it's just a mess, man. It's a mess of a movie just on the visual level. Like, there's so much potential that really could have been done with this, but it just didn't really fly. It didn't really deliver everything that the comic series had. I mean, it didn't have a lot of the good visual flair that we saw from the comics. It didn't really have a lot of fun to it. I mean, it's just not really enjoyable. I mean, it's not an enjoyable film whatsoever. And it's a shame, because the talent is there, the possibilities are there, but just the execution and the way it's handled, it's not there, man. It's just a mess on so many levels. It's a big disappointment. I expected a lot more from this. I think a lot of people really expected a lot more from this. It's a shame, because so much potential really could have gone into this, and it just wasn't there. It's a massive misfire on so many levels, and they keep saying they're going to try to remake it again, but do a reboot of it with I think Blumhouse was at one point attached to it, and they were going to have Jamie Foxx at one point play the title character, but there hasn't been anything really said about it since the start of the pandemic, so who really knows if that's actually going to happen now anytime soon. But yeah, maybe one day they can get it right, but for right now, we have this bad movie that's just really not, it's really not worth it, honestly. Like, I really want to see more from these actors in a much better, like, I want to see these actors in a much better movie than this one. That's really what I want to see from it, but unfortunately, this film just didn't do the trick for me. So that is Spawn. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Jennifer Aniston and Kevin Bacon in Picture Perfect. See, I did it again. I did that yesterday. The movie is called Picture Perfect.
A woman who gets a lot of attention.
Okay, just give me the damn thing.
Just not the kind she's looking for.
Kelly! I'd like a grandchild. All right, Ma, well, you'll be happy to know I'm looking into getting some eggs frozen. Wonderful. I can tell everyone I'm having a grandsicle.
Then one day, someone came along who caught her attention.
My first chest pain. That's my first official chest pain.
Now, she'll do whatever it takes.
Here,
be nice.
I can be a bad girl, Sam.
Not bad enough for me, Kate. To get what she wants.
Could I have the number for Midtown Flowers, please?
What are you doing?
So what's it, Kate?
I'm engaged.
So tell me about this guy.
Huh? They all said they want to meet him, of course.
We'd have to take you two kids out to dinner.
Do I look stupid to you?
He can't find an hour to visit with his future mother-in-law.
I mean, do I really need to show you any more from that? I mean, we've seen this done so many times in so many other movies. The main character has to lie about the fact that she's married, and the fact that, like, the movie almost lost me right away from from that first shot in the trailer where she's the only single female at this wedding. It's just like the stupidity levels of this are already ridiculous, and the movie gets even worse with that. I mean, it goes to the tropes that we've seen done over and over and over again. I mean, there's really nothing else more I can really say about this film that hasn't already been said already about it, because really, not only do you need to have people tell you how bad it is, it's just the fact that every single romantic comedy cliche is in this movie. I mean, it's literally every single one, and there's no special twist to it, there's no special quirk to it, there's nothing that makes it unique or stand out on its own. It's just the same stuff we've seen done over and over and over again. You know you're going to get the liar reveal, you know you're going to get the third act breakup, but then they're going to have to get back together again, and it's just like, it's like we've seen this done so many times, and this movie is just, it's just a mess. It is the second big disaster for Jennifer Aniston in 1997 in terms of films, because she was also in Till There Was You, which was a huge mess on so many levels. And then this is just bad because it's just something we've seen done over and over and over again, and it's just not worth it. It's not worth seeing what Jennifer Aniston has been able to show as an leading actress in the years since this movie came out, and even on Friends. Like, this is garbage. This is a garbage movie that's been features so many cliches, so many things that are been there, done that, and it's just like, it's not worth it, man. It's just not worth it when it's all said and done. So, not much more I gotta say about that one. That's Pitch Perfect. So let's go ahead and move on to the next film we have here, and that is Disney's Air Bud.
This summer, the dog is in the house. Walt Disney Pictures presents the story of two unlikely friends who saw their shot.
What the heck's going on here? Ain't no rules in the dog can't play basketball. It's already put in.
And took it.
Yeah! You're Michael Jordan! Even more amazing than the Timberwolves' miraculous mid-season turnaround is Buddy. But this is no ordinary golden retriever.
I can't believe you got my dog.
For the underdog in all of us.
Can someone cover that dog? It's already put in.
Disney's Air Bud.
Does he dribble? No, but he might drool a little bit.
I mean, if you haven't really decided after the fact that they said there's no rule in the rule book that says a dog can't play basketball, if you can accept the stupidity of that, I mean, chances are you're probably going to like this movie, but me personally, I didn't like this movie. I mean, I get what they're trying to do. I know it's supposed to be silly. I know it's supposed to be a ridiculous sports comedy with a twist, this time with a dog playing basketball. I get that, but this movie never really entertained me. I never liked these Air Bud movies because they're pretty much the same movie every single time. And at least with this first film, I'll give it credit that it does try to do something a little bit unique and different by having an animal playing a sport like basketball. I mean, it's an idea that's so ridiculous and so absurd that I'd be willing to buy it if the rest of the movie was not that was more memorable, but it really isn't. Every other story, it's kind of like Picture Perfect in a way, but except in that movie, there's nothing unique about it. There's at least something that's at least unique about the concept here, but you still have to deal with a lot of ridiculous stuff. You have to deal with an abusive owner who eventually will come back and will cause a third act breakup, and they'll have to and again another third act breakup where the kid has to tell Buddy to go run freeing in the forest, and then he'll have to come back in when there's an injury on the team, and they'll have to play in the basketball game, and it's just so much stuff happens in this movie, and it's just like I really never got anything out of it, honestly. I never got any enjoyment out of it. I never really got anything too spectacular out of it. I just really thought it was just a real mediocre movie. I know it has a fan base. I know these movies have a fan base to them. I mean, they've spawned God knows how many spin-off sequels in these films, but yeah, me personally, I just don't get it. I mean, I just don't really see anything too great about it, honestly. It's like, yeah, you have an interesting idea here, but that's about it, an interesting idea. The rest of what you have here is pretty bad. I mean, it's nothing too spectacular, it's nothing too amazing, and I just personally couldn't get into it, honestly. I thought it was just a mediocre film. Not the worst, but definitely could have been a whole lot better with a better script, but I know I'm alone on that, but I know a lot of people like it, but that's the power of freedom of speech. You know what? That's fine with them. So that's pretty much all I got to say about Air Bud, honestly. So let's go ahead and move on to the next film we've got here. Samuel L. Jackson in 187.
Education. Give Cesar your book so he can read. Intimidation. 187, that's the police code for homicide. Violence. What you gonna do? Destruction. Are you finished? There's nothing more you can do to me. Murder. You can't expect the system to protect us. You know what to do. The things it takes for some people to finally get it. Don't you feel safer with getting gone? Samuel L. Jackson, 187. Rated R. Starts Wednesday, July 30th.
So this is Samuel L. Jackson's, believe it or not, this is actually the first movie he ever got top billing for. He had been supporting roles in stuff like Jurassic Park, Long Kiss Goodnight, Pulp Fiction, just a number of different movies, but this is actually the first movie where he has top billing on it, and it's basically, he plays a teacher in Los Angeles who's caught with gang trouble in an urban high school, and the film's name is basically the California Penal Code Section 187, which defines murder. The interesting thing about this movie is that the writer of this was a Los Angeles area high school substitute teacher for 7 years, and he actually wrote the screenplay after an incident where a violent transfer student had threatened to kill him and his family. The writer, Scott Yeagerman, reported the threat to the authorities, and the student was arrested. About a week later, he was called by the district attorney to testify against the student in a court of law, where the student was being prosecuted for stabbing a teacher's aide the year before. And this annoyed him who had not been told about beforehand, to lead him to write the screenplay. And he claimed that 90% of the film's material is based on incidents that had happened to him and other teachers in real life. So honestly, that's a really interesting story to go around here with this. And you would think that there'd be something here, but honestly, there's nothing really all that different compared to some other movies of this type, like Dangerous Minds and The Substitute, Lean on Me. That's, these movies. We've seen a lot of movies like this, and sadly, it's just not. Samuel L. Jackson just isn't enough to really elevate this to another level. I mean, he's trying his best here. It's got a good cast overall: John Hurd, Kelly Rowland, Clifton Collins, Method Man's in here. This is directed by Kevin Reynolds, whose last movie was Waterworld. It's not a bad movie per se, but it's just not one that's just kind of like, we've seen this done before. It's like the other two movies we talked about, Air Bud and Picture Perfect. It doesn't really do anything different to really stand out on its own. It doesn't have anything too unique to make it something that should be seen on its own levels, but you'd only be really going to see this if you want to see Samuel L. Jackson in his first top starring role. But other than that, it's not really worth it in the end. I saw it a long time ago, and I don't really remember all that much about it the one time I saw it, so I really don't think it's going to get any better if I try to watch it again, honestly. But at least Samuel L. Jackson has been in a lot of other better movies with his name in the leading role. But So that's 187. Let's go ahead and move on to the last movie, and that is In the Company of Men.
Hey, Howard. What's the difference between a golf ball and a G-spot? I don't know. I'll spend 20 minutes looking for a golf ball. That's good. Yeah.
If you thought you knew what some men were really thinking...
We keep on playing along with this pick up the check crap. And we can't even tell a joke in the workplace.
Really feeling...
Seems like everything. Work, these women, I feel like they're getting out of balance.
And really doing...
She said that. No, I didn't. I didn't say that. I mean, I didn't mean it.
You're in for a little surprise.
Say we were to find some gal. I mean, this person's just vulnerable as hell. And we both hit her.
So this is the first feature film from Neil LaBute, who has gone on to become more notoriously known for directing The Wicker Man, as well as some other movies. Nurse Betty, he directed the Death of the Funeral remake, he directed Lakeview Terrace, he directed Possession, The Shape of Things. His movies have been a very mixed bag, honestly. But this is one of the films that really branched him out as a regular director. Who you basically have Aaron Eckhart and Matt Malloy, who are angry and frustrated with women in general, and plot to toy maliciously with the emotions of a deaf female subordinate. And it's certainly a very interesting black comedy. It's a very interesting black comedy. It has some unique ideas to it, and it's very well done. Like, it's a film that really, I did not go into it with a whole lot of expectations, because I had seen this shortly after I saw The Wicker Man for the first time, and I didn't think I was really going to get anything out of it, because I really didn't like The Wicker Man. But nevertheless, this was a pretty entertaining film. It's a dark comedy. It has a lot of moments in there that make you uncomfortable, but at the same time, you're kind of intrigued by where it's going to go. And it does take you places that you really don't expect to see, honestly. I was really pleasantly surprised by it. And it kind of made me want to check out some of the other films that this director has done. Not all of them have been great. Some of them have been pretty downright terrible. But at least for this first film, it's actually done pretty well. It's actually a really well-made film. It's a real good movie. I'd highly recommend it if you haven't seen it already. If you want to see what Neil LaBute can do as a director as a whole, and you hadn't seen The Wicker Man, watch this, because it'll give you a new perspective on him as a director that I think works a lot better than I think a lot of people would give it credit for. Not much more to say about this one. Check it out, In the Company of Men. That's going to do it for this episode of Time About the Movies. When we meet next time, we'll have 6 more movies to look at, including Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts and Richard Donner's Conspiracy Theory. We also have Def Jam's How to Be a Player. The long-awaited, in quotation marks, long-awaited, 3rd film in the Free Willy series, Free Willy 3: The Rescue, Career Girls, and Soul in the Hole, and Hamsum. So 6 movies to look at. We'll delve into those on the next episode. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on the channel. With that said, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.